All right, hey everyone, and happy Wednesday. And I am so glad you are here. If you are a first timer, thank you for coming, and I hope you'll stay and enjoy the journey. And if you have been returning back and forth every week to me, or at least every other week, I'm grateful for you. Thank you for being here. So, this last week, I have had to kick myself in the butt a few times because after that competition I was in ended, I was pretty drained and wasn't sure exactly what I really wanted to do with myself. And so I had to kind of reinvent what was going on. I had to reinvigorate, and I had to also give myself a little grace and back away from a lot of things that I had been doing for the previous 8 weeks. So I'm back, but still working through some kinks like my scheduling. It's little things, it's silly things that most people may not even realize. As an amputee, number one, changing clothes during the day is not fun. It's like taking your leg off and putting it back on throughout the day. For me, 5 years in, I don't want to be taking my leg off. If I must, I will, but I really try not to ever take it off until I'm ready for bed. Same thing with clothes. Once I pick out my outfit for the day, changing shoes, changing from pants to shorts or shorts to a swimsuit sucks. It's just a lot of silly but added extra energy being expelled for things that I need to reserve it for. So if you're new to being an amputee, I totally get it. I totally hear you. The amount of energy you spend on certain things that are more for moving forward as an amputee are better spent doing that than the little minute things like changing your clothes and your outfits throughout the day. For example, I won't take a shower in the middle of the day unless we're doing something really, really special in the evening and it's a special date night or something, and I've been to the horses or the gym, because God knows I smell like horse when I get down at the horses, and it's not pretty after the gym either. But when I do go, and I did that yesterday, and I was really set this week, I was gonna go hard this week. I had my schedule in my mind and I was ready to go. And for me, making the schedule the night before is half the battle. If I get up wishy-washy, that day's gone. But yesterday, I got up, got moving, and got out the door earlier than normal to head to the gym. Did the gym for about an hour, and that was it. But in the locker room, decided that I was going all in. I changed clothes. I got into jeans, which is not easy after the gym and sweaty. Put jeans on over my prosthetic leg, get my other leg in, try to squeeze into them, because y'all know that when you wash jeans, they shrink up, so then you got to fit into them, and then you're sticky from sweating. It's not pleasant. But got them on, changed my shirt, put cowboy boots on, got my belt on, shoved all my gym stuff in my bag, and left for the horses. And getting in the car and relaxing for a few minutes was awesome. The problem was that when I got to the horses, I was already tired from the workout and the workout of getting my clothes changed. So here we go. We are now at the horses, and I thought, well, you know what? I don't need to spend all day here. I'll just do an hour. You know what ended up happening? I spent like 3 hours there, washed all the horses down because they were all so sticky and sweaty, and it's just hot. So I was there till like almost 1 o'clock, and by the time I left, my car was reading 113 in jeans. I was a mess. So needless to say, when I got home that day, my rest of my day was spent recuperating and then trying to cook a dinner. And I started the dinner really early because I knew it was going to be in slow motion. And it was, but dinner was done on time. So I'm proud of myself for that. However, today I thought, I don't really need to change my clothes and do all that. And I didn't get to the gym and I didn't get to the horses. I actually worked on some other things that are needed, but it kept me at home in one outfit. So that being said, those are the little things that some people may not get about being an amputee, and you may not understand about me. Like, I can do this, 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 and this all throughout the day, but there are things that I refuse to do because it expends way too much energy for what I get from it. Changing my clothes is one of them, and changing out of my leg just to rearrange it and put it back on again is another. Those things just whip me. So today, however, I did change from this morning because we were going to go and hit some golf balls. So I'm prepared for that for this evening. But I thought, one of the things that I have been hearing about from people is the things they cannot do as amputee. And, when you're first an amputee, it's frightening, it's emotional, you're not sure what's going to happen, you have no idea how you're going to heal. You have to heal before you can get a prosthetic. Then you don't know how the insurance will handle getting a prosthetic or a prosthesis. Then you got to go get fitted for it, and you have no idea what that's going to feel like. And then you're learning to walk again. And when you're not, a foot and a half off the ground like a child learning to walk is, and you're up a ways, falling doesn't feel like a really good option. And the older you get, the more the chances are you could break another part of your body falling. So I get all those things that happen, but I thought this week I heard a quote from another amputee that I thought was really, really good. And I don't know if they really quoted this, but the context and the idea was about starting points. And my podcast today is about embracing your starting point. Number one, I've talked about how comparison is the thief of joy. It is true, so true, 100 times over true, that when we compare ourselves to anybody else, we're doing ourselves a disservice, and we're not really embracing the life we were given and the journey that we're on. And we have really no idea, even a good friend, what their journey is and where they're meant to be and how they're handling it. Not to mention, we all handle pain and emotions differently. And so comparing yourself to somebody else is just, it's apples to oranges. So here's what I have for you today. First thing is, I thought this was really good. Excuse me, I'm throwing on the old lady glasses here. My book here that I bought, if you've been watching a little bit of on my YouTube channel, I have a vlog called One Leg is Enough. And I've started using How to Walk by Thich Nhat Hanh, who was a monk back in the day. Really, really enlightened person who spread joy and was at peace. This book, I thought, the funny part was I thought it was hilarious how to walk as an amputee. You have to find humor in all the little things that you see. But I also thought, there might be some really great nuggets of information in this little tiny book, because it is set up in little small pieces, that I could give to you guys to help you embrace where you're at. This one's called Climbing the Mountain. Now, when I read this, I want you to think metaphorically about your mountain, okay? It says, I once traveled with a delegation to China and climbed Wutai Shan, a famous mountain there. The path to the top is very steep, and usually people arrive exhausted. There are 1,080 steps to climb. Before setting out, I suggested our delegation breathe. Make a step, relax. Breathe, make another step, and relax. Our intention was to climb the mountain in a way that we could enjoy each moment of the climbing. Every 10 steps or so, we would sit down, look around, breathe, and smile. We didn't need to arrive. We arrived in every step with peace, stillness, solidity, and freedom. When we got to the top, everybody was so happy and full of energy. Every step, even uphill, can bring mindfulness, concentration, joy, and insight. I don't think I could have said it any better. Your mountain, wherever you're at in life, is undaunting when you look from where you are to the top of where you want to be. But I always tell my husband, no matter what we venture out to try, what hiking path I want to do, any hard obstacle I want to challenge myself to, like surfing or skiing, I said, I can do anything one step at a time. And I found this yesterday reading through this book, and I thought, my God, this is exactly what I've been preaching to the choir. And that is one step at a time, breathe and enjoy it. Because if you are an amputee, you know this journey is not an easy one. And I'm not talking about the amputation itself. I'm literally talking about the entire journey. I am in the very, very early stages of my journey, even 5.5 years in. I know I feel like a pro at the things I've already accomplished and what I've done and what I think I can do. I understand my body more and things like that. But I do know that just because I can understand it doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Therein lies the problem. And what we always try to do is set ourselves up to a goal of, I want to be doing this. I want to be walking by this time. And that is great to set your goals like that, to have deadlines and dates. I want to be able to be strong enough to do X, Y, Z. I want to be walking without a walker or a crutch or a cane. I want to have a good fitting socket that I can embrace. I want to feel independent again. Those are all wonderful goals. The problem is if you're only one-sided with that, normally that works, but you will stumble and fall in any goal. The problem is you will have setbacks as an amputee. You will have setbacks when you goal set, no matter who you are. Not every NBA player made it to the NBA on the first try and is a rock star there. Some of them don't make it, even though they're great players in college. Some of them make it and then sit the bench. They also do a lot of practice, and consistency and commitment to their craft is what gets them on the court. The same thing happens with us. You want to be in the game of life, then you need consistency. You need to have commitment. All too often, I hear people complain that they're not walking yet, or they're not walking unassisted yet, and they're getting frustrated and that they really want it, but they gave up going to PT, and they gave up the gym, and they gave up da. And all I keep thinking is, I'm not even going to respond to, this is me looking at Facebook groups, and it's not directed to me. I always respond when people ask me questions. But when I see people write things like that out on social media, my first thought is, but you gave up. And that is not commitment. It is not going to be easy. It is not going to be handed to you just because someone says, finally, insurance has given you the go-ahead for your prosthesis. Here it is. Put it on. Have fun. Good luck. You're going to do great. That's not the case. When I started walking, I couldn't get my knee to engage and bend. So then I would stub my toe and almost fall. Or I would peg leg it and swing my leg out so I wouldn't hit my toe. And all those things would have stayed the same if I had given up. But instead I pushed forward, and that's what you have to do. It is a mountain you're climbing. And when you climb a mountain, you will fall backwards at times. You are not going to be on a steady incline. But the really cool thing I did hear someone talk about not too long ago was, but with consistency and commitment to your goals to, let's say, be totally independent with your prosthesis, is that you might start in the valley getting your prosthesis and being at the lowest point, not knowing how to work it. And you're going to work your way up till you feel really confident, and then something's going to happen. The fitting's not going to be right anymore. And trust me, that takes a long time. It took me 3.5 years to get the socket I'm in now. And now I've been in this for over a year. That's awesome. But that wasn't the way it was. And when it doesn't fit well, you start hitting nerves. And when your nerves get hit, you start having more phantom pains more often, and they can be excruciating, which then makes people want to take their leg off. And then you're not practicing and you're not committed to getting better at walking. And it's this really bad cycle that we can go through. But the thing you got to remember is you will continue to keep climbing. Even though you set back, you still keep climbing, and you're at a better starting point than you were when you started. So even when you fall backwards, you don't fall back down and start over again and have to climb that same path. You're just falling a little bit, because that's when we grow more, right? We grow when we fail, when we fall, and we learn. We learn about ourselves. We learn what we did right. We learn what we did wrong. We learn through failures. We learn through that, those stumbling blocks. So when you're climbing your mountain is now your new life as an amputee. It's going to be a very large mountain. So what you need to be thinking about is, how can I enjoy where I'm at right now? Knowing I'm not where I want to be, and pushing through regardless and with complete conviction to getting to your goal. Think about weight loss, or strength training. I can't tell you how many times I have not liked the way I felt in my skin or in the clothes I wear. And it has taken me years of experience and years of letting myself down and years of failed eating habits, dieting, let's just call it what it is, to still find myself self-talking about, remember, it's a journey. You don't like the way your arms are right now. You don't like the way your legs look right now. That's okay. That means you have room to improve, which gives me purpose to get to the gym. Now I have a drive. I'm the kind of person that I thrive when there's a big, huge carrot in front of me. So when I did that competition for that magazine, I was in the gym every day of the week except for like 1 or 2 days. And I would go regularly and I was hitting hard and I saw huge gains. Well, when that competition was over, I lost that drive. And you know what I also lost? I lost the tone I had worked so hard for. Not a lot, and it doesn't take much to get it back. But you see what I'm saying? When we don't stay committed and consistent, we lose ground. But all I keep telling myself is, I know what I can do when I put my mind to it. And, do I want to go to the gym today or do I want to work on our family vacation that's coming up? Well, you know what? Today I chose family vacation. And that brought me great joy. Not guilt that I didn't get to the gym, but joy, because I was living in the moment for what I could do to make our trip enjoyable for the family. So climbing your mountain, climbing what you're at right now and where do you want to be, just remember that there's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be redirection. There's going to be detours. I mean, losing my leg was a huge detour. This was not what I envisioned for my journey ever in my life. Never have I had surgeries. Never have I had problems because I've never had surgeries. And then the first time I have surgery, I end up having 10 and then I end up taking my leg off. So you embrace that. You embrace it with humor. You embrace it with joy. You embrace it with the anticipation of something greater being planned out for your life. So that is your mountain and that's what you need to climb. Now, getting back to embracing your starting point, I looked up the definition of starting point. It's pretty basic, but let's just read this. It's a place or position where something You're in a medical crisis right now. You're just amputated. You're in a relationship crisis, a corporation crisis, whatever. You are at a starting point. You may choose this as your starting point, and it's a place for new beginnings. Okay? Now, synonyms to starting point: commencement, emergence, introduction, origination, rise, and start are all synonyms to starting point, and all of them are positive. Starting points aren't bad. It's just looking at life in a new direction. And I always think of a train. You can either think your train's derailed, or you can just say that the path was changed and that. I always think of the old like Mickey cartoons where someone pulls on the switch and the train goes off the different track. That's me. I was going my way, having a great time, living life the way it was meant to be, just nice and straight. And this just someone somewhere up ahead changed that lever and my track shifted to the other track and now I'm going someplace else. I don't look back and wonder what would have been and what could have been. I'm now looking at what could it be? What is planned for me? And you guys know my faith. You know that I'm a believer. And I just wonder what God's plan is for me. And I just keep embracing each day with as much gusto as I can. So your starting point is yours. So when you get on, going back to the comparison thing, you get online and you compare yourself to a Paralympian that's going to be competing here in the Paris Olympics, or to the people that are out there rocking it because they've got sponsors and they're doing things. And I'm guilty because I'm an athlete in my heart. I am a competitor deeply, not just with myself, but with everybody I come across. I compete in my head and my mind. It can be damaging because you always are wishing and wanting to be where someone else is. Why is that happening for them? Why did they have those things happening? Why did they have that many followers? And Why do people want to be listening to them when I can do this? And all those things are not the important part in life. The important part is seeing and embracing your starting point and enjoying your journey. And when you start to embrace and enjoy each step, like Thich Nhat Hanh wrote about stopping, breathing, and finding joy in this moment right here. I'm right here, right now, talking to one of you or 1,000. It doesn't matter. Right now, I'm talking to me. And if that's all that this is meant to go and be heard by, then that's what it was meant to be. But am I finding joy in doing it? Yes. I wouldn't do it every week if there wasn't joy being had by me being able to talk about these things. So when you are looking in the mirror, okay, let's go into a call to action here as I try to wrap this up. You need to sit there and embrace who you are, where you are. And it is a hard journey. I understand that. I'm not going to tell you your starting point's better or worse. I'm just saying yours is different. And I started in a place where I had a lot of weight to lose. I had been sitting around doing nothing for many years, and I had a young family that I wanted to keep up with. That may not be your journey. You may not be the age that I was when I took my leg. You might be a lot younger with a whole world ahead of you, and you might be a lot older and people saying, you better take it easy, you could hurt yourself. And you need to do what you need to do to accomplish what you want to accomplish to make you happy on your journey. And no one else can tell you otherwise. Now, I have seen people say that, hey, my spouse doesn't think I can handle it. And that's a tough gig because you want to respect what your spouse has to say. So for someone that had actually brought that up the other day, I would never say, prove them wrong, not your spouse. But you want to explain to them all the positives that are happening for amputees today. Show that person all the things that can be done and tell them what your drive is and what your dreams are and share that, because that's what a spouse is for. And help them understand, because you're going to want them in your corner. I guarantee it. My spouse, my husband has been in my corner so much. He has watched, he's really smart, and he has seen the mistakes that I've made, and he has reminded me, remember when this happened, remember how this long this took, and remember that you got through that. You know, when I would get a new socket, I'd be like, gosh, at first it was exciting, then it became a dread because I knew it would be painful at first getting used to a new socket. And my husband would be the first one to tell you that he would say, remember, it takes like a week till you break it in and you feel comfortable in it. So give it time. And that is the stuff I needed to see in the heat of a moment of emotional dread, emotional worry, anxiety, fear. And when you're hurting, you know, you tend to want to give up. So I want you to embrace your journey. I want you to look in the mirror today, next week, the week after, and say, I am good where I'm at. It's not where I want to be, which is good because that means you're driven to be someplace else and doing something else. But embrace the positives that are happening right now. See where you are now compared to a month ago, to a year ago. You know, more than likely, if you're trying in the least little bit to improve, then you will look back and go, wow, I've changed a lot. Make sure you're taking pictures throughout your journey so that you can remind yourself of even the baby steps on things. And it will also help you when you do fall backwards, and you will stumble, you will fall. It'll help you remind you what it was like when you looked and felt like that. And you will get back there. But remember your starting point. Your starting point is like no one else. We may all be above knee amputees. We may all be female above knee amputees. We may all be female above knee amputees in their 50s. And not one of us started in the same position. And none of us are going to end in the same position. And none of us is going to have the same journey with the same hiccups at the same time. We are going to embrace what we have. We're going to be able to see similarities on the journeys that we have, but we will not have the same thing going on. So just remember that. And I can't explain to you what it's like when I actually tell myself to enjoy this moment, because it can get better, but the power is within my words. I know I can make things better if I stay committed, if I stay consistent with the path of reaching a goal. Enjoy your journey. Embrace your starting point and embrace the journey that you have been put on. It is not a curse. It is going to be a gift. Trust me, you are going to fill somebody else's bucket and they're going to be filling yours. You're going to find out that what you are going through is going to gift someone some nugget of information or something that you do or say or how you live your life, and it's going to change someone else's life as well. So this is not a journey you do alone, but you are navigating something very unique. So I hope this helps you to embrace the journey you're on. I want you to find joy in the moment you're living in right now, and I want you to keep pressing forward and just take the stumbles and take the triumphs with great joy every time, knowing this is not the end. The end is when you are buried and you are gone. So you are not done. So keep pushing forward, keep being the warrior you are, rise up. Like Starting Point says, a synonym to start is to rise. So let's rise, warriors. As always, be healthy, be happy, be you.